Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Album Spotlight podcast. My name is Noah.
I'm Freddie.
And this is the only podcast that puts a spotlight on albums.
Yeah, the only one.
How you doing, Freddie?
Oh, I'm doing just swell. How are you doing?
You sounded disingenuous when you said that there. I don't know if I can trust you.
No, I think I would never be disingenuous.
Oh, well, if you say so.
Not even once.
Well, I'm doing pretty good because today we're talking about a fun, funky little album. Do you know which album it is?
Oh, I actually don't know which album it is.
Oh, you want to guess
Sorry.
which album it is?
Oh, is it fucking
Trying to think of a single album.
I know, like I was gonna do a bit and then I couldn't think of a single album. Fucking
Fred,
Abbey Road, that's an
for a
album. What? Level me.
Have you ever listened to music?
Yes, you're asking the big questions.
Like, can you remember a time that you've listened to music?
Like a specific time. I mean,
yeah, like any time.
I guess I can't give you like a time stamp at which I was listening to music. You know, I can't like.
You know, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think most people would be able to do that.
Well, I'm not.
I think most people have a memory of listening to music at some point.
Yeah. Well, most people aren't a host of the Album Spotlight podcast.
You know what? That's true. That's what makes us so unique.
the only music podcast that doesn't listen to music.
Yeah. Hey, I said we put a spotlight on albums. I didn't say we fucking listen to any of them.
Yeah. We just kind of look at them.
We just kind of talk about them and postulate. Which guest did you have again about which album we're talking about? I cut you off.
I think I eventually got to Abbey Road.
Abbey Road. Oh, okay. You know, pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. But we are talking about Tin Drum by the band Japan.
I think that's not very close.
What do you mean?
I guess they're both English.
Yeah, they're both English. Let's keep going. Let's keep. Well, how about
they're both musicians?
Harder. How about you try listing a difference?
They, I guess I can't think of one. Yeah, I can't think of a concrete difference between them.
They have 4 members at this point. Fuck! That's both of them. Shit.
Fuck!
4 quirky white boys from England. Fuck.
Yeah, I guess their bands are named different things. As are the albums.
Okay, you know what? You got me there. When you're right, you're right.
And I'm right. A little bit of dead air.
Gonna play some applause there.
Yeah. Yeah, we like built in the dead air for you. I was gonna say I think my funny muscles are maybe starting to turn on. I feel like I was losing the. I feel like I'm struggling to get the funny going, but I think I'm getting there.
Okay.
Maybe the beer's helping.
Why do you think they went dormant?
This economy.
Because this economy. Is that what I'm hearing? Being funny in this economy?
I'm just saying, you seen the fucking Dow Jones today? Woo!
Dude, did the line go down?
Dude, the line is going all over the place, man. Going places you don't even want to know.
It's going up, down, and around, dude.
Yeah.
How about those gas prices, man? I mean...
Yeah, man.
What is Biden up to?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of another.
Anyway, yeah, we're talking about Tin Drum by Japan.
We're talking about Tin Drum by Japan. Japan is a band.
not just a country, but also a band.
And then also a band.
They come from a long tradition of bands named after places that they may or may not have any relation to.
Yeah.
You got Asia. You got Chicago. You got Boston.
You got Boston. You got
America.
God, you're faster than me. You got oh god, there's so many more.
Yeah,
Kansas.
There's a lot more. Kansas, there we go.
Oh, there's more. Yeah.
There's definitely more. You get the picture.
Yeah.
Europe isn't? Yeah, Europe.
Europe, yes. The Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Rolling Stones.
Led Zeppelin, etc. And this is the 5th and technically final album by Japan. They kind of made another one under the name Rain Tree Crow in 91, with the same 4 dudes, which is like a different band name. Dudes. Yeah, Japan did used to have 5 dudes, but then good old Rob Dean on guitar didn't have enough to do because they were getting too wacky with the synthesizers.
Yeah.
Getting too quirked up.
Yeah, a little too jiggy with it.
But yeah, frontman David Sylvian. He
sings.
Kind of. Yeah, he sings.
Plays guitar.
He plays guitar. We got Steve Jansen hitting the skins. We got Richard Barbieri on the keyboards. Barbieri. And Freddie, could you let me know who's playing that funky bass?
Is it Mick Karn?
That's what I hear. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, that's what I've been told by the internet.
Yeah. He played a fretless bass, in fact.
Fuck fretless bass, man. Fuck that fucking instrument, dude.
I don't give a shit. It just doesn't have the lines that it usually has. Who cares?
Get that fucking shit out of here. I don't want to see it anymore.
I don't care what kind of bass you have. At the end of the day, it's always just gonna be a guitar for dumb people. So
dumb people are gonna play one fucking note at a time.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. Fuck.
And then you play 2 notes at a time and it sounds muddy and stupid.
Yeah. You sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Get off the goddamn stage.
It makes me so mad.
It makes me so fucking mad.
God damn it. So what did you think about this album?
I thought it was cool. See, I'm not gonna make the joke about it sucking.
More applause, please. Thank you.
More applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a fun little ride. Particularly, the first track is it's very new wave. You're sort of kind of hit immediately with like what kind of scene this is coming out of. It's very like, okay, this probably came out in 1981, or like it certainly has a lot of similarity with its various contemporaries, but at the same time it's like particularly on this album, what they're doing, integrating all of these like elements of traditional Chinese music, and that's just generally sort of where they draw their aesthetic thrust from. It's kind of unique in that way, and we can get into like our thoughts around all of that, but like but yeah, that's sort of generally what they're doing. But it like, I think that certainly the sounds mesh quite well. It's very technical. It's like a lot of these song structures or like a lot of these songs are very complicated. Kind of their breakdown, which is interesting because it's also quite catchy at a lot of points. They had like real drums layered with like electronic drums, just like as like extra ornamentation and stuff like that. And so usually the rhythms are like really complicated and just like hopping all over the place. It's kind of like
some
frenetic.
Talking Heads influence, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely some Talking Heads in here. There's lots of very cool synth work. Yeah, it's both like a very fun, dancey new wave album, but then also it has a sort of interesting aesthetic sort of thrust behind it, which is, yeah,
Yeah, I would agree. I quite enjoyed this. Also worth mentioning, this was our first listener recommendation. More applause, even more of it. Oh my god. Filmed in front of a live studio audience. Woo. He didn't say which one to listen to in particular, but we chose this one because... You scared me a little bit. Oh my god. It's not prepared for this level of emotion. Sorry, I just gotta like adjust myself.
I totally broke I like shattered your...
Yeah, all my momentum just screeched to a halt because I went into fight or fucking flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to I Like Music 47, who asked, have you guys ever tried the band Japan? They've got pretty solid albums.
Well, now we have.
Now we have. We had not previously listened to them. I had listened to one of David Sylvian's solo albums. We might touch on that in a bit, but none of Japan's stuff, so now I've listened to most of their stuff. And we landed on this one because it is their most popular and most acclaimed, but still doesn't really get talked about as much as most of their new wave and new romantic contemporaries. A little bit of history about the band. They started out as like a glam rock band, kind of late to the party as far as that goes. So they didn't really take off that much except in Japan.
Ironic.
Yeah, people have theorized why that might be. Some people say it's literally just because of the name, but...
How did they come up with that thesis?
Then as they went along, they started to kind of come into their own a bit more and like lean more into the like kind of electronic and mechanical stuff. Yeah, they weren't getting very big until their last couple albums, and this album contains their biggest hit, which is the song Ghosts, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they just disbanded because they weren't getting along anymore.
Disbanded.
Yeah, that's what it... It's not a coincidence, it's just like kind of... Yeah, it's in the word.
They're like a band and they disbanded.
You seem to be talking about it like this is some kind of like wordplay or coincidence, but that's just like what the word is.
Funny, it's like they were a band and they became not a band by disbanding.
Like, do you think you made up this word?
I don't know. I mean, you don't have to be a band to disband, you know? Like I don't know.
I guess that's true.
You could be like a solo act that disbands. Or you could be like a...
If you're a solo act, you just kind of like stop, don't you? You don't really.
Or maybe it's like an alias, you know? It's like you have like some alias that's like a project you have to like maintain, and you decide to like, I'm done with that. Then you're sort of disbanding, or it could be like an organization or something.
Yeah, I guess an organization can disband.
Like an organization could disband.
Yo, can we see what the dictionary says about disbanding?
Yeah.
Can we get a fact check on this podcast?
I was trying to type disband and I just typed fucking Discord. Damn it.
So yeah, Japan discorded in 1981. Oh yeah, it's to break up the organization of a group, so it could be any kind of group. Okay.
Any kind of organized group.
I'll give you this one. Well, we got to start somewhere with this album. So, where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about?
I guess we can start with Ghost since that's the hit.
Yeah, I guess we already brought it up.
Does not certainly based on Spotify plays. It's not like so tremendously bigger than any of the other songs.
Oh yeah,
like it has.
It was like
maybe back in the day
when people used to buy singles. Yeah,
and then people forgot about this fucking band again.
Yeah,
after they disbanded.
Is it too late to rebrand ourselves to the Disband podcast?
Yeah, the Disband podcast. You know, that would be a good fucking name for a podcast. Because it'd be like, we're talking about Disband on the Disband it's like we're the welcome to the Disband podcast where we talk about Disband.
And then everybody just clicks off of the tab instantly. Turns off their whole phone.
They like throw their fucking phone against the wall. It like shatters.
I've never been so disrespected in my whole life.
Just when I think I'm winning, when I've broken every door, the ghosts of my life are wilder than before.
Okay, what were we actually saying about ghosts? I think
We didn't start saying anything about ghosts.
I thought you started saying something, but maybe I was mistaken.
I think I maybe started to say something, but nothing was...
Until you disbanded that sentence.
So Ghosts was the I believe it was the last single released off of this album. I think it's kind of wild that it was a single at all.
Yeah.
It's like a profoundly weird song to release as a single, let alone to like be a band's biggest song.
I know, it's almost like the least poppy song. It's maybe not the least, but it is like, it's among the least poppy songs on the album. It's like, I guess it's like one of those things where like, I don't know, people are attracted to the novelty of it or something.
Yeah. I mean, it might be the least poppy, except like Canton or something. Like,
yeah, only like Sons of Pioneers is like pretty spacey.
that's true.
That's what
Sons
I
of Pioneers
remember.
is, yeah, a bit more abstract.
But yeah, it's like, this one's very, yeah.
Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
here, say your piece. I won't interrupt you this time.
Oh, okay. I'll say my piece. I got a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Let me disband my piece real quick. So I'll just say right off the bat, this is my favorite track from the album.
Fuck!
Why does that upset you?
Oh, I was excited.
Oh, okay. That's
an
what
excited
you sound like
response.
when you're excited. Okay, I don't know you as well as
Yeah.
I thought I did, I guess.
Or you just don't see me excited.
Yeah, I guess I don't excite you. But yeah, this is, like, as far as singles go, it's extremely weird because it's extremely minimalistic, has no drums. It's just this incredibly minimal synthy ballad. Comes pretty early in the album for this kind of song too, I would say. And
Track 3.
Yeah, track 3, no less. It oh, okay, it actually wasn't the last single. I guess they released Cantonese Boy after it. But anyway.
Boo.
Misinformation podcast. But yeah, but I wonder if maybe part of the reason it got popular is just that this feels like probably the most heartfelt song on the album, and like while it's the most abstract, it's also probably like emotionally the most straightforward.
Yeah.
It feels like you see the artist behind it more than most of the other songs on here. It's like very confessional.
Actually, I hear the artist behind it. The music. I guess you see him on the cover.
I've sent a hitman to your location.
No, I'm saying you're right. I'm saying you're correct. Because he's on the cover.
I'm agreeing with you. But yeah, this song is, yeah, it almost has like some dark ambient touches to it, I would say, like especially in the intro and some of the like interlude parts with the despondent synths, which I believe were taken out in the single version.
Lame.
Yeah, even bothering to like make a single version of the song is kind of crazy to me. But
yeah,
I guess they really believed in it. And I mean, it's certainly my favorite. It does have a really strong vocal melody to it, I think. Like that chorus is amazing, even if it's not like a pop chorus in the traditional sense.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrical gist of the song seems to be that he's like been struggling for a long time and really trying to accomplish things, and then as soon as he thinks that he's gotten somewhere, the ghosts of his life come back to haunt him basically, and it's like he can never truly get ahead.
Kind of sad. Yeah, the thing I always think when I hear the song, and I always feel like a fucking nerd when I do, but I always think it sounds kind of like Coil. With
yeah, a little bit.
The fucking like marimba and like the or whatever simpler instrument that is.
Yeah, I totally hear it.
The way it kind of like creeps along in this very like in this sort of steady way, but kind of not but never like fast. Where it departs is this like it has like sort of, because it's like kind of a chorus. The part where you have those like synth stabs which are really nice and thick. It's like doom doom doom.
Yeah.
And it's like sort of the chorus, but it's funny to call it that because it's like the structure of the song is so like slips through your fingers and it's so like kind of ephemeral.
It is like the melodic hook of the song though, those synth stabs. Like,
Yeah.
doo,
I know you hear like a pop song like almost about to burst through, and then it just like doesn't. It goes back to like a weird like floating around thing. Yeah,
that's a good point. I when I first heard it, I kind of expected it to have some kind of crescendo.
Yeah,
and it never does. It just keeps holding back.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites on the album. It's the only one where he's like sort of talking about himself. And so it sort of set apart from the other ones too in that way. So I can see, I guess, like that is like a reason I could see this one like being a being one that sort of takes off separated from the album.
Yeah, that's true. It's like if this was the kind of thing you were looking for, then you weren't really going to get it on the rest of the album, so it would kind of make sense to buy the single. Although I quite enjoy the rest of the album as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't. There's that joke.
We did it. We made the joke.
We made the joke.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
This is what
now
you
get
listen
to
for.
Laugh.
Laugh it up.
Yeah, that's why
we
you're
know
here.
you were waiting for it.
Come on, yeah. Give it to us.
And another interesting thing about this song to me is that I think it's the most kind of predictive of where David Sylvian's solo work would go later on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he has a very long solo career, which is still going. And has this history of basically just working with all of the coolest and best musicians after his work with Japan.
Like Beethoven.
Yeah, like, you know, Beethoven, Mozart, Playboy Cardi, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd go into more experimental directions, like increasingly so over the course of his career, like kind of mirroring the career trajectory of Mark Hollis a bit. Like if Mark Hollis, instead of making one album and then quitting forever, like kept going in that direction. Mark Hollis from Talk Talk.
Talk.
Yeah, there's a quality to a lot of the songs, like even the more traditional songs on this album, where the song structures always feel like a little bit beyond your grasp. Like even when it has a verse, chorus, verse thing going on, it feels like there's always more happening that kind of obscures it somehow.
Yeah, it's even like when you can sort of identify like more poppy song structures, it's sort of like within that format, the sections themselves are often quite weirdly constructed and like
yeah, exactly. Maybe for example, we could talk about The Art of Parties.
If you just asked me, I would have said this is the one I would have thought was the big hit.
Yeah.
This one's like the most, yeah.
It was the lead single, but it was not the most popular one.
Yeah. This is like, if you asked me which one they would have released as the lead single, I was like, obviously this one.
Yeah, same.
This is like the party song.
I've thought about showing my mom this band and seeing what she would think of them, and
yeah.
I would probably pick this song to show her.
Yeah.
Like either this or Still Life in Mobile Homes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun.
But yeah, what would you say about this song that kind of makes it single material?
I mean, it's got fucking horns, and it's got like the like do bang. It's got that. I mean, it's just like it's super catchy and like high energy and poppy.
Mm-hmm.
Got a funky bass line. If this was on like a playlist of like new wave party next to like, you know, the most popular like Talking Head songs and stuff or something, it would very much like you'd fit in very squarely, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
can really hear that they were listening to Talking Heads. Am I correct in saying that it sounds like part of the main bass line is like doubled up with bass synthesizers?
Oh yeah, here, let me listen. Yeah, there is like that. There's that like
Yeah, that part.
Like that part. Yeah, that's definitely a synthesizer. Yeah, that's definitely a synthesizer. Yeah.
Yeah, so the groove is pretty intricate.
And you hear the thing too. It's like it has like the regular drums, and it has all this fucking percussion just like flying around everywhere. There's like
yeah,
there's like so much fucking going on.
I'd say a lot of the album is pretty lyrically abstract. Like there's this motif of "I'm burning buildings," which is like kind of.
I know it's very like, oh gosh.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm burning buildings. I'm building. Wait, I'm burning buildings. I'm building this time.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you referring to there? It almost makes me wonder, like, is it kind of like the phrase "burning down the house"?
Oh yeah,
like Talking Heads on that song later on. Like as energetic and funky as this song is, the vocals are kind of somber, I guess.
I know, he really does this like.
Yeah, just doing this like kind of dramatic crooning over it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, feels very 80s.
Yeah.
Fucking Genius is like on the sidebar is like oh, Art of Parties. You might also like Talking Drum by Japan, Quiet Life by Japan, or Fortnite by Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Just reminding me that she has a song called Fortnite.
Yeah, I see that too. Oh my god.
That's so awesome. She named it Fortnite.
Yeah. She knew.
There's like naming a song Gangnam Style.
Yeah, or like Among Us. Like, yeah, it means something on its own, but also no, not anymore. It's been co-opted.
Like, no, that word has been driven into the mud.
Yeah, thoroughly tainted.
There's no coming back. Yeah,
but yeah, cool start to the album.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say it's a fun new wave song.
It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, are there any highlights you want to talk about?
Potentially my favorite on the album is the song Visions of China.
That's a second single.
This one's like clearly catchy. This one's like a little less like sort of frenetic than like the Art of Parties or something. It's more of a like, I don't know. I feel like I often on albums like this often go for like the big really like injected into my veins catchy pop song, which I think kind of applies to this one. This one, like at the chorus, I just can't get enough of.
Yeah, I agree. This is probably also my favorite after Ghosts. Yeah, it does have more space in the mix. It's less frenetic, like you were saying, and it's just got this like loping bass line, like very slidey. This is a wild thing to say. You know that scene in Spider-Man 3 where Peter Parker gets the Venom suit and then he like gets all emo and then he's like walking down the street
and he's like doing finger guns at every fucking woman he passes.
Yeah, he's just harassing women down the street. Yeah. Like this song could be played in the background of that. Just saying.
I know that would work perfectly. I know it has. That would be a good edit. Oh man,
yeah.
That like nobody would get. I know only fucking Album Spotlight podcast listeners would get it.
Yeah. This is for the real ones.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it totally has that groove though.
Yeah. It's strutting music, you know.
Yeah, it makes me want to strut.
I love the outro too. It's like group vocal thing where it's like we walk backwards, say nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
oh yeah, that's fun. I like read a little bit about the kind of background of this album, and it was this thing of like they were just kind of obsessed with everything China for like a while.
yeah.
And then all of this just like came out of it, and so of course there's like the standard, you can say the standard kind of thing. It's like, okay, a bunch of white boys like fucking discovered a country or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like, and they like just had to make an album of it, which is like, you know, is like not
Probably
like
an element
untrue.
of it.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's like the song is sort of loosely, you know, I get notes of like, you know, the Cultural Revolution or something. It's like it's sort of vaguely about like the current contemporary or recent events in China. I guess that was what, like 15 years before this album came out or something, but same difference. But it was like, I appreciate that they're being kind of like I don't know, non-judgmental feels like kind of the wrong word, but like they're just sort of like it reminds me a little bit of what God, I hate that I'm referencing swans twice in an episode, but like, but like what swans do on
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm trying. But yeah, like the album "Children of God" of like that album, they're like doing this they're like really leaning to this like Christian stuff, this like big sort of mega church Christians, and they're not really like endorsing or criticizing it really in the album.
Yeah, kind of like a neutral observer.
Yeah, they're just like sort of reveling in it, and they're just like feeling the energy of it and being like, this is powerful, this moves people. So I appreciate it. It feels kind of like what they're doing on this track. It's much more just like they're just like reveling in this feeling of like, oh, we're building a country. We're like, this is like a revolution. This is like a huge, just like we're doing a, you know, we're making our own vision of China. We're doing this, like, I don't know. They're just kind of like, they're not like being, I don't know, because of like I don't really, because if they did any sort of like, I don't really want to hear what, like, you know, some like white British boys like their political opinions are on like the fucking Cultural Revolution or whatever. Like that, I feel like anything diving into that would just sort of cheapen this, you know. It's like fucking, I mean, obviously I'm a fellow fucking Western white person, but like, you know, I yeah, I appreciate more, and I mean, you know, it's
gotta
sort of
stand
like
up for our white boys.
We gotta stand up for the white, and of course it's like, you know, it's sort of it's not like they're being really careful about not doing cultural appropriation or whatever. Like they're not really thinking too hard about that. You know, They want to make it like cool, which makes it more, you know, I think moves them out of that territory. Like, I mean, a thing I noticed was like the fucking cover, at least on Spotify, the cover has like where it says Japan on the title is like directly above the picture of Chairman Mao, which is like very like like Mao is like a fucking guerrilla fighter who spent years like battling the fucking, you know, Japanese invaders during, you know, he definitely would not be happy with that. Neither would think most people from China probably wouldn't be too happy with the element of it, but I just like noticed that today.
Yeah, I did think of the irony of the band being called Japan, and then having this on this album in particular, this fascination with Chinese history.
I know, it's sort of like it's a little bit, yeah, it's like sort of, you know, just like a little you know, taking a little bit from here and there of all the East Asian countries, you know, so it's like they're certainly doing that, you know, like, let's not be
and I think another reason they're given a pass for it is that David Sylvian himself has said that he hates the band name, and that
I guess they did make it when he was like 16 or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they came upon the band name because of like a travel brochure on a tour bus, which like almost
that was like the first time they ever heard of. It's like the first time they ever heard of Japan. Like,
yeah,
whoa, that's a cool word.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like it kind of implies that they were made aware of the existence of Japan through this brochure, and then they're like, oh shit, this could be our thing. Yeah, but it was supposed to be a placeholder for when they came up with a better name, but they just never did.
Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he was 24 when the band broke up. So.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're just fucking, they're just babies.
Yeah, they were. Well, there aren't really Japanese influences on the Sonic way. It's like pretty much all Chinese, from what I can hear. So
Yeah. I wonder if do people still use SJW, or is it just woke now? Do people just use woke?
It's mostly woke, I think.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, someone will say SJW, but that's usually more of an indication that they haven't really, like, their mind has not changed since 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, you're a little. I feel like woke like they overlap because I feel like I remember hearing woke SJW. Like that sounds like that sounds like a thing people said at some point. So maybe they had a little bit of overlap.
Yeah, I think there was some overlap, but yeah, I think woke is more malleable, so it's persisted more.
Yeah, woke is good.
This is a certified woke podcast.
Yeah, we've gone full woke.
You go woke, you go broke, and we're broke as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the arrow of causality there isn't
correlation equals causation.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, before I forget, yeah, Nathaniel couldn't make it. He's busy with
fucking dumbass.
Yeah, busy with being stupid. But he wanted me to mention that he was thinking that David Sylvian's voice sounded familiar to him and he couldn't place it. And he realized that he made an original song for the ending theme of the anime Monster.
That is a niche fucking
yeah. Yeah. I had to remember what Monster was because I haven't seen it. Apparently it's quite good.
Yeah, that's funny. I guess the place I probably knew him from before this was fucking was like fucking Finesse.
Yeah, same. Hey, I mean, he's kind of like devoted himself to artsy esoteric stuff from this point forward, so
yeah,
I don't think he would take issue with any of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and his favorite track was also Ghosts.
How did I know?
Predictable.
Who would have thought?
But yeah, Nathaniel's still alive. I know you've all sent us very anxious emails about it. He's doing fine. Anyway, so I was thinking we could maybe talk about the closing track and the final single, Cantonese Boy.
Yeah, I guess.
We're pushing through these burning towns.
Do you like it?
Oh, this one's so catchy. The fucking
yeah.
Oh man.
Classic 80s synth arpeggio there. It like bounces from being hard pan left to right when the bass comes in is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the way the way the like chorus is sort of, I'm not sure if it's exactly like non-diatonic or something, or it never like stays on chord exactly, but it has this like sort of dissonant, disjointed thing it's doing the whole chord. While simultaneously like being very catchy. It's very that really sticks out to my ear.
I think part of it might be because David Sylvian's vocals have this like lilting quality of it that isn't like always perfectly on key.
Yeah, when like the instrumental behind him isn't like doing a isn't like really obviously sticking to like a chord at a time or something, then like his vocals are very floaty and don't like commit exactly to a note, and so it like there's not like an element that's really telling you what chord is playing.
Yeah, there are lots of details like that throughout the album, I think, that set it apart from other new wave bands.
Yeah.
So this one is also, it keeps bringing up the Red Army.
Yeah.
Red Army calls you, call of the crowd. We're singing, marching through the fields. We're changing the lives we've led for years. They're talking about Mao again.
I guess it's kind of a big deal or something.
Like you were saying, it doesn't seem to be really making a statement about this. It almost feels like a reenactment or something, like kind of that feeling of being swept up in something you believe in.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't really say anything more specific than that. So I think that Children of God comparison is actually pretty apt. as funny as it is how much we bring up swans.
Yeah. I feel like we're better than we would have been like a few years ago, you know? Like I feel like we only do it when it really makes sense.
Yeah, only when
And
it's
it is like
appropriate instead of
and it is like it's maybe like I don't know, just like to the general listener, it's maybe not the most helpful because most people don't have like the encyclopedic knowledge of Swan's discography the way we do. But it is like I don't know. I feel like we only bring it up when it's an apt comparison. You know, it's not like when somebody hit like anything industrial and like, or it's like the like Fantano kid meme about like anything like vaguely abrasive sounds like death grips or whatever.
Right.
we don't do that, you know. So it's, I don't know.
That's true. It is different. I think the point we're making by it is that usually with a subject as politically charged and controversial as, you know, the Chinese Communist Party back in the day.
Or today.
I think most songs that would be about that would kind of feel like they have to say something more more pointed and ideological about it, like probably against it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of unique that a band, like, especially back in the 80s, would just kind of be like, we're making songs about this and just kind of leaving it there.
Yeah. When you live in like the West, it's like the sort of like there's just sort of a general anti-communism in the air that you can just say the same. I don't know. You could just kind of like demonize places and throw them under the bus so easily, and like it's so easily accepted. They so easily could have done that route, and I feel like that's like a thing that a lot of artists would fall into. But I don't know. I appreciate that they like refrain. Like I don't really know what their politics are, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like they probably don't think about like they probably just weren't thinking about the politics very much. They're just like into the aesthetics and into like the like vibes, you know, of it. Because there's something kind of humble about it, you know. Like if they're like a bunch of fucking like 23-year-olds, you know, it's like if they'd made any sort of tried to make any like political statement, it's unlikely it would have been anything particularly substantive. It would have probably just been like anti-communist shit's in the air always, which, you know, even just like regardless of whether you agree with it or not, is like very clearly just like what you're taught immediately if you live in the West. And it's like it's not like I don't know. Yeah. So it's just kind of like not it like undermines your creative project if it's something you're incorporating. I think something like this is just like way more compelling than them like trying to make it really particularly political.
Yeah, just doing some cursory looking around while you're saying that, it does seem that he's at least left leaning in comparison to the American Overton window anyway.
Yeah, I would have guessed sort of like punk left wing. Like
he was against the Iraq war while it was happening. Like
yeah, it's sort of it's not really like structured exactly, but it's like a sort of general like openness. It's sort of a lefty openness kind of thing. I would suspect.
Yeah, like politics isn't his main thing, but just like don't bomb people, please.
Yeah.
Anything else on your mind about this fucking album?
About this album, here, let me remember.
I think Cantone is pretty interesting. Oh yeah,
that one's fun.
Like the structure of the album, like as far as the sequencing is pretty interesting. I think it works well, but like having Ghosts and Cantone back to back in the A side is kind of ballsy, I think.
I know, like two weird, like sort of slower off color cuts.
Yeah, having your fourth song on an 8-song album be an instrumental, also one of the longer songs, and it's the most clearly influenced by Chinese music. Yeah, it's got these keyboards and flutes doing this like kind of traditional Chinese melody.
Yeah, it's really quite beautiful. I think it's very like it's very like triumphant. I found it very compelling. They're like their take with like these weird electronic instruments and stuff. Yeah. Was this pre-MIDI? I feel like this was maybe. Oh man, when did MIDI come out actually? MIDI.
Yeah,
80.
It's
Oh,
gotta be-
exactly 81. The MIDI came out. So
Oh,
it probably
wow.
was pre-MIDI. So this is probably just like control voltages or something. You can hear that the synth parts aren't being played by a person because of the way it goes like do 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 do. And it's like that
Yeah.
thing that only a robot can do, you know, where it's like playing a bunch of notes in quick succession that are like very perfectly. I don't know. It's funny they kind of lean into that.
Aesthetically, this is a melody and a timbre of the main melody sounds like very old, like traditional.
Yeah.
And then mixed with the more like futuristic 80s sounds. It's, yeah, very cool juxtaposition that works surprisingly well.
Yeah, the bass is doing this like and the way it kind of like sometimes goes like
Yeah. Yeah, he's really making use of the fretless because it's like almost entirely sliding around. It's like oh yeah, on Wikipedia it says that the bassist Mick Karn had to rub the aluminum neck of his bass guitar quite frantically, and the heat generated was enough to bend the metal out of pitch.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so he had to like switch to a different bass that was like sturdier, I guess.
Oh my god. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it really is triumphant, and it kind of sonically mirrors the lyrical themes of Cantonese Boy and Visions of China, I think.
Yeah.
And I also want to shout out the song Still Life in Mobile Homes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one too.
Yeah, the main melody in a lot of the songs comes from the bass, I think.
Yeah.
Like the bass work is just crazy, fantastic. Good old
Yeah.
Nick.
Oh yeah. This is another one I love the way the synths all kind of congeal on the chorus, and it like you have the stab. It's like ding, ding, and then you have these like high kind of like synth strings that are all like introduce all this tension.
Yeah, that's true. There's this like really nice bed of synthesizers, basically, that's always morphing and shifting around.
There's this part like around 305. It's like a little industrial or something. The synth work. It almost reminds me of like fucking like
yeah.
Sophie or something. Kind of like really aggressive like hi-fi synth work that's very big right now, and like hyper pop and stuff, and like Deconstructed Club, and yeah,
I can hear it. Yeah, I also kind of hear some early Depeche Mode.
Oh yeah, and it's fun how that bass is like different every single time. It's like
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like masterful synth work. And they have like an actual guitar solo, which is performed by David Sylvian because their lead guitarist had left because he didn't have enough to do anymore.
Yeah, fucking loser.
Yeah, fuck you, whatever your name was. I'm forgetting already.
Dumbass.
Rob. Was it Rob Dean?
Rob Dean, 1974 to 80.
Yeah, Rob Dean.
Did Rob Dean do anything else? He made an album in 2019.
Oh.
Or he made an EP in 2019 with Martin Burke.
Yeah, it seems like he mostly didn't do a whole lot of music stuff from the 90s on.
Yeah.
Also, the like phrase "still life in mobile homes." I have no idea what that is, but it's very cool.
It's funny. That'd be all funny.
Yeah, it feels almost like an even more abstract version of what David Byrne and Talking Heads does, where he'll just like kind of paint these portraits of modernity, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like how it's
and
confusing.
kind of absurd way. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like less pointed and less less like it's making a statement about it. In any case. Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool, whatever.
Pretty cool album. Yeah, we mentioned Sons of Pioneers is spacier and more abstract. That's the longest song.
Yeah.
A bit darker, It's got some cool harmonics on the bass.
Oh yeah, the yeah.
Although I wouldn't say it's one of the standouts to me.
Yeah.
And talking drum is also pretty fun.
Yeah, it's another fun one.
That's more in line with most of the other songs we were talking about. And that's kind of the album.
That's kind of the album. That's all the songs. That's all the songs in the album.
We've now mentioned every song on the album. No stone left unturned on the album Spotlight podcast.
No song left unturned.
No song left unheard.
No stone left unplayed.
We out here playing stones. But yeah, David Sylvian's stuff, very cool from this point onward. I believe, like, technically Japan's album that sold the most was their live album that came out after this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, called Oil on Canvas. I haven't heard it yet, but apparently it's quite good. They disbanded a year after Tin Drum.
Disbanded
and fucked off forever. And
yeah,
now David Sylvian has been doing his own thing. Yeah, he progressively got weirder. Like, for the past couple decades, he's been doing mostly, like, reductionism and electroacoustic improvisation.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like, absolutely whacked out shit. And yeah, I've heard some of it, and it's incredible, actually.
Yeah.
Perhaps one day we'll end up talking about one of his solo albums.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I mean, I bet he listens to the, like, Art of Parties, and it's just like, oh yeah, back when I was like a baby making baby music for fucking babies.
He basically does,
like,
yeah. He mostly, like, kind of writes off everything that he did in Japan now, especially their first couple albums, which even those I think are definitely not bad.
Yeah, here I have a thought to say.
Say a thought.
So I listened to Quiet Life over a year ago and thought it was dull with absolutely nothing compelling about it. Now it's time to try Tin Drum and see if my opinions on this band had changed. Nope. Japan still sucks. The band, not the country, obviously. Anime rules.
Rules. Lead vocalist David Sylvian and the rest of the band show no shame whatsoever with Sylvian's fake Brian Ferry accent, as well as taking Roxy music style as their own and simply adding more synthesizers to evoke a completely plastic and transparent veil of sophistication and artiness. Music sans heart. 0 plus 0.5 because the Oriental influences are a bit unique, but you're just pouring glitter over a dull, dirty rock.
That's so awesome. He calls it Oriental influences. What a fucking review! That shit rocks.
The top goddamn review on this album. Yeah, that was from a Rate Your Music review, if anybody ends up hearing that part. I might have said my piece in the comment box about that review. In any case, I quite enjoyed this album. I thought it was...
I enjoyed it too.
Yeah. Thanks again to I Like Music 47 for shouting out Japan.
Yeah, it's very nice of you.
Thanks for listening and for giving us something to listen to. And if anybody out there wants us to listen to something, you can put it down in the comment hole and maybe we'll check it out.
Yeah, like we don't have enough already to fucking listen to. All this goddamn music makes me fucking sick.
Yeah, only suggest it if you're really passionate about it, because as is, we are trying to talk about every single album, and it's hard.
It's fucking hard,
man. Not
man.
making good progress.
We are like going backwards. Like more albums come out than we can then we put out episodes. It's bad.
Yeah, we are not keeping up. I'm calling for a music hiatus.
Yeah,
we
people
talk
just
about all the albums.
People just stop making music for a second so we can listen to all of it and then they can start again.
Hey, musicians, cool it.
Just give us a second. Give us just like a hot like 10,000 years or however long it would take to fucking listen to all the fucking music.
Yeah, I'm putting you
I wouldn't-
fuckers in timeout.
I do wonder how long would it take to listen to like all the music on streaming or whatever.
Oh
That'd be
man.
like is it like is it 1,000 years? Is it 1,000,000 years? Like I don't know.
Well, let me Google how much music is on Spotify.
Yeah.
Over 100 million songs.
So 100 million songs. Let's say there's. Oh yeah, and then 3 came from. They're 3 minutes long. Let's say they're 4 minutes long. It really doesn't matter.
On average.
So that times 4, so it's 400 million minutes, and then 60. So that's that many hours. 24. So it's that many days. 365. So it's 761 years. So it's an order 1,000 years.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah. That's not as long as I thought, honestly. I was like,
I mean,
doesn't feel so bad.
that's if no music came out from now until we were done listening to all of it.
Yeah.
And if we listened to all of it only once, which would be more than we listened to any of the albums we talked about already, to be fair. So that's worth mentioning. But
Yeah.
so it'll take us a minute. My point is, choose your recommendations wisely, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend Tin Drum by Japan. I think it's a very unique and cool album in the new wave scene. It's funky, rewards repeat listens, and it's got some nice weirdness to it. I like it. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah. It's a fun little album. Got a little bit of synth work, a little bit of bass line, a little bit of Chinese.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of vocals, guitar, keyboards, programming tapes, songwriter, cover concept, drums, percussion, electronic percussion, songwriter, keyboards, programming tapes, fretless bass, flutes, Suona, songwriter, producer, engineer, assistant engineer, producer, violin, design, photography, vocals.
Yeah. It's got all those things on it. I was going to say all those things and more, but no, it's got those things and those things only.
Yeah. No more and no less, in fact.
Yeah, check this album out. It's fun. Yeah, it sets itself apart a little bit.
Yeah.
I've said my
piece. Is that our
piece.
first 80s album that we talked about?
Is it? A lot of 90s and 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of our kind of the sweet spot for music, you know.
Yeah. To be fair, we also hit the 70s quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I guess. Wait, let's see. So we hit that one.
Because
we hit that one.
Los Hibis as well. Which,
Yeah, that was also 70s. Yeah, so that's like what 370s.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is interesting. That's becoming like statistically significant. Us like skipping over the 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe music truly was worse then.
It's true. Everyone's all like, "Oh, that was like the peak, and like pop music was so good and stuff."
Yeah.
Fuck all of it.
Fuck that shit.
There was nothing good.
Nothing.
On that note, listen to this album and tell us why you think Palestine should be freed.
See you, bitch.
See you, chump.
Fuck out of here.
Congressman Graham said, this was simply an excuse to bring about what they wanted all the time, socialized medicine. James Madison, in 1788, speaking to the Virginia Convention, said, since the general civilization of mankind, I believe there are more instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachment of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpations. They won't attach this bill to Social Security, and they say here is a great insurance program now instituted, now working. Let's take a look at Social Security itself. Again, very few of us disagree with the original premise that there should be some form of saving that would keep destitution from following unemployment by reason of death, disability, or old age. To this end, Social Security was adopted, but it was never intended to supplant private savings, private insurance, pension programs, and unions and ministries. Now in our country, under our free enterprise system, we have seen medicine reach the greatest heights that it has in any country in the world. Today, the relationship between patient and doctor in this country is something to be envied. The privacy, care that is given to a person, the right to choose a doctor, the right to go from one doctor to the other. But let's also look from the other side, the freedom a doctor has. A doctor would be reluctant to say this. Well, like you, I'm only a patient, so I can say it on his behalf. The doctor begins to lose freedom. It's like telling a lie from one leads to another. First, you decide that the doctor can have so many patients, and they're equally divided among the various doctors. But then the doctors aren't equally divided geographically. So a doctor decides he wants to practice in one town. The government has to say to him, you can't live in that town. They already have enough doctors. You have to go someplace else. And from here, it's only a short step to dictating where we will go. This is a freedom that I wonder whether any of us have the right to take from any human being. I know how I'd feel if you, my fellow citizens, decided that to be an actor, I had to become a government employee to work in a national theater. Take it into your own occupation or that of your husband. All of us can see what happens once you establish the precedent that the government can determine a man's working place and his working methods, determine his employment. And here's a short step to all the rest of socialism to determine his pay. And pretty soon, your son will decide when he's in school where he will go or what he will do. He will wait for the government to tell him where he will go. In this country of ours, we face the greatest revolution of the every other revolution simply exchanged one set of rules for another. But here, for the first time in all the thousands of years of man's relations to nature, a little group of men found the for the first time, established the idea that you and I can within ourselves without giving right to the government to determine our own destiny. This freedom was built into our ethics. We talk democracy, and strangely we let democracy begin to assume the aspect of majority rule is all that is needed. The majority rule is a fine aspect of democracy, provided they have guaranteed written commitment to our government concerning the rights of the individual and the minorities. What can we do about this? You and I can do a great deal. We can write to our congressman, to our senator.